Well, alright guys, how are you all doing tonight? This is Luke back here with yet another album review, and tonight we're going into the New Jersey old school death metal underground with none other than Ripping Corpse, Dreaming with the Dead. And I just want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Xavier, also known as Rock and Roll Snaggletooth, for turning me on to this band for the first time. And the first time I heard this album, it was what, like 8-9 months ago now? Holy fuck. It was really fucking sick, vile death metal, and it's amazing shit. Now, let's get into a biography and history of this band, as I always do. Ripping Corpse was a death metal band formed in 1987 in Red Bank, New Jersey, and they released one album, which is Dreaming with the Dead, in 1991, and several highly regarded demos. Members included singer Scott Ruth, guitarist Sean Kelly, and bassist David Bizzigatti, and drummer Brandon Thomas. They later added future Morbid Angel guitarist Eric Rudden, who went on to form Hate Eternal, and they also replaced Bizzigatti with Scott Hornick. Thomas, Ruth, and Kelly went on to form Demnock. Now, the band's lyrics typically were horror themed. The band took its name from the second song on Kreator's second album, which we all fucking know it, Pleasure to Kill. Now, the lineup of this band and album consists of Scott Ruth on vocals, Sean Kelly on guitars, Eric Rutten on guitars, Scott Hornick on bass, and past David Bizzigatti on bass. And also, how could I leave out it? And Brandon Thomas on the drums. Now, there's not too much other stuff I could find on this band, as you have to keep in mind. They're more of an obscure band, and they also have released only one record. So, without further ado, guys, let's get in to this review. Now, first off, I just want to start out by saying Dreaming with the Dead is a cult classic of old school death metal. Ripping Corpse can't be easily compared with any other band, in my opinion. I mean, hell, they took elements from Slayer, Kreator, Possessed, and even early Morbid Angel, but they tenderized them into a foul death metal feast. I mean, this certainly isn't thrash metal. A lot of people say that about early old school death metal. A lot of people say, oh, this is thrash metal. It's really not. If you think Ripping Corpse is thrash metal, I don't know what the hell to tell you. This is straight up old school death metal, and as I said, this is even in the vein of fucking Possessed. I mean, what the hell? Anyways, the band released only one album, and it came out as on an obscure label. This actually came out on Craze Records, and the label was shut down shortly after the album was released. And habitants can make or break a band. In this case, it doomed Dreaming with the Dead with obscurity and collectability. And this would not have happened, in my opinion, if a label like Earache or Roadrunner had been involved and signed Ripping Corpse. If one of those labels signed the band, I feel like it would have been more of a fucking... I feel like they would have took off, man. Just like all the other Earache or Roadrunner bands you see. Now, let's get into the songs, guys. In terms of the songs, the album contains 4 new ones and 8 from their demos, I believe. One of which was given a new title, and all 3 songs from the Glorious Dead demo are here, along with 4 from Splattered Remains, and 1 from Death Warmed Over. Each was given a basic makeover, and some were even upgraded, but the title track endured probably the most drastic changes of all fucking time. And it was converted from the thrash of their debut album to a full-on death metal assault, and they also had new songs like Beyond Humanity and Through the Skin to Soil, Sickness of Will, and Chugging Puss. The new ones on the fucking album that weren't on their previous demos are killer, and at least as good as the older songs. And guitarist Sean Kelly was remarkably a prolific death metal composer. His preference was for short, savage layered tunes with simple hooks. Scott Ruth was able to latch onto those hooks with his distinctive bellows and his interesting lyrics, adding a whole nother level of intriguity. And every song on this album, if you listen to it enough times, it's memorable. The consistency makes it difficult to pick highlights. That said, Seduction of the Innocence is definitely one of my favorites on the album. I mean, hell, it's a very unique death metal song. And the first 50 seconds, I gotta say, are mesmeric. The melodies rain down as the drums propel everything forward, everything teeters on the edge of sanity, ready to burst into the next riff at any fucking given moment. And I can't think of another death metal song that sounds like this one. Other highlights include Chugging Puss, which is a hardcore style bruiser with backup vocals weaved into the side moves. Then the new version of Rift at Paid is also a killer one. It's 1,000 times better than the demo version, I gotta say, too. It was menacing, and it has a sludgy section at its core. To my knowledge, this section was the first ever beatdown riff before Bulldoze popularized it in the hardcore scene. But, yeah, comment down below and let me know if you can find an earlier example of that, because I'm not too sure. But I'm pretty sure that this is the earliest example I can find about that beatdown riff. Another track worth mentioning is Feeling Pleasure Through Pain. It's a sick death metal track with amazing drums, amazing guitar playing at times. Just, what is there not to love about this fucking track, or this whole damn album? I mean, what the fuck? Anyways, guys, without further ado, let's check out the track by Ripping Corpse, Feeling Pleasure Through Pain, right here on the channel. We will be right back. we are back, guys. Fuck, man. What a masterpiece this album is. I just gotta fucking say it. One of the best fucking tracks on the album, definitely. Now, throughout, the band demonstrates mastery of controlled chaos, I would say. The holy grail, I would say, of the more technical side of old school death metal. And I don't mean technical in the sense of all these fucking garbage fucking bands, again. I mean technicality, kind of like Cryptopsy technicality, you know what I mean? Like, more like using it to its full extent for more heaviness and to sound more brutal, not to fucking be all technical, not to all that fucking bullshit. Anyways, achieving this effect means that the band can play their way through a compositional maze rather than merely stitching challenging riffs together. The band must have rehearsed these songs to death, I would imagine. I mean, Brandon Thomas is the linchpin behind everything. He is an incredible drummer, and I gotta say his speed, power, and accuracy cannot match anyone. He plays double kick with astonishing consistency, and he also sounds confident with the more jazzier stuff as well. For this reason, I might compare Dreaming with the Dead to albums such as Soulside Journey. Both of these records had a similar aim to marry complexity with the catchiness, and both of these albums succeeded. The difference is that Ripping Corpse approached it from a more American side of death metal, and Darkthrone approached it more from a Scandinavian one. Now the only really negative thing I can think to say about this album is the production. I mean, it sounds just a little bit too polished, but that doesn't take away from the heaviness. And I gotta say, it's certainly more powerful than the demos, and polish wise. But unfortunately, the guitar's problems are somewhat hollow and lifeless. I gotta say, they're nowhere near crunchy enough for me. Now, this isn't a huge problem, as it doesn't harm the album's status as a death metal necessity. I mean, anyone who likes the more complex and technical side of the genre should seek this out. But as I mentioned again, it's got more of an old school Gorguts, Cryptopsy technicality, not like fucking Origin or fucking all those gay ass fucking bands. I wanna add in that too, so people don't get the wrong idea of Ripping Corpse. But the Cave It, Ripping Corpse lasted long enough to improve on it. I will give them that. They lasted long enough through their 3 or 4 demos and one album. They improved on it very well as time went on. And by this album, they mastered it. So, a 3-song promo was released under the name of Industry a year later, and that promo, I gotta say, is even better than this album. But it will be discussed in a possible future video. So overall, I gotta give this album a 9 out of 10. The only problem really here is the production. But other than that, this is amazing underground old school death metal. It's definitely a gem, and I would highly recommend that you check it out. And with that said, that's going to wrap it up for this album review, guys. I hope you enjoyed Ripping Corpse, Dreaming with the Dead. And if you did, leave a like and subscribe and turn the notifications on. And if you'd like to see more content like this, hit the notification bell. And if there's any bands or albums you would like to see me review or cover on the channel, leave them down in the comments as well. I'll be sure to have a look at them, but don't give me any of that fucking bullshit or I will shit on it. You saw fucking Chaos shit on Avenged Sevenfold, so you already know how that fucking shit goes. We're not afraid to review your request, but don't be surprised if it's not positive. With that being said, me and Chaos are going to try to be getting back to podcasts soon. I'm still in the moving process, but I'm still trying to pump out videos for you fuckers. Hopefully you're enjoying them. And if you'd like to join me or Chaos's Discord, the links to those will also be down in the description below. Alright guys, that is going to wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to have yourselves a fucking good one. Cheers.